People of Reddit, is it weird for a 30-year-old to date a 21-year-old? If so, why? Yeah, it's weird. Not weird enough for me to want to stop you, but weird enough for me to question why a 30-year-old would want to date someone that level of relative immaturity. I didn't realize this blew up, and I'm not interested in discussing it, but the harder some of you try to convince me, the creepier I find you. This is creepy behavior, and you telling me what I did, it doesn't make it less creepy. I know people in real life who did it and who are a lovely model couple. I also know people who won the lottery. Doesn't make investing in the lottery a legitimate investment choice. I'm 29 now, and I don't know what different part of life everyone keeps referencing being at. Sure, I have a degree now, but as someone who doesn't want kids or a house, my life goals of traveling and having fun are the same, if not stronger, than when I was 21, because I actually have the money to do it now. I haven't dated in years, but chances are women my age might be starting to want kids, so I either have to sift through for the ones who also want to stay kidless, or I date a 20-something-year-old who also just wants to travel and have fun in life. Yes, it is weird. You're at two different stages in your life, and finding a compromise would be difficult. For context, I'm 26 and just ended a relationship with a 35-year-old because he's as big a fucking man baby child as people younger than myself. I'm not about to waste my time on that. No. We both work 10 hours a day at different jobs, but he's always too tired to clean or do laundry or anything besides a video game, wouldn't make time for me or my interests, expected me to put out with a smile. Not gonna happen in my world. It really depends on the individuals. Brings back a treasured memory. When we were 20, my friend started dating this guy. They were perfect together, and neither asked, "Hey, so how old are you?" Their relationship got pretty intense really fast. I happened to be with him when something came up in conversation that led to the realization he was 9 years older. The absolute shock on both their faces was hilarious to me. Both absolutely horrified. They just had their 25th anniversary, so, you know. They got over it. 68M. When I was 29, I dated a 21F. Not weird. When I was 31, I was dating a 40F. Also not weird, she looked like Kim Basinger. After that ended, I actually went back to the younger one, on and off, for about 4 years, until I met my wife, who is 3 years younger than me, also not weird. They are just numbers sometimes. Now I think the hot 40-year-old is like 77, I think that would be weird now if we had stayed together. She married a guy my age though, and they are still together as far as I know. I don't think age gap is a big deal if it's a legal and mature relationship. Like people who get bent out of shape if a 60-year-old dates a 30-year-old, they're both legal and consenting adults trying to live their own lives. There's nothing wrong with it, and it doesn't need your input. Well, when they were 30 they weren't even born yet, argument means absolutely nothing to me if they met and consented at a legal age where the younger of the two was allowed to make that decision for themselves. I'll never understand the obsession with this topic. These are consenting adults. Let them make their own decisions. I'm not here for infantilizing 20-somethings as though they're utterly incapable of making any kind of responsible long-term decisions for themselves. People are complicated. I don't know these individuals. I can't possibly accurately guess their relationship dynamic or motivations. As long as everyone is legal and enthusiastically participating, I don't care to comment. When I was 20 I dated a 31-year-old guy. It was weird, and the more that time goes on the more weird I feel about it. We weren't in similar places in life. He was anxious to settle down, but I was still figuring myself out. He would keep assuring me I was mature for my age, but I don't really believe that. It was a big age gap, which wouldn't be as weird if we were like 30 and 40. 20-year-olds are adults, but their brains aren't fully developed and they have way less life experiences. I wouldn't personally do it. When I was 30 I dated someone who was 23 and it was awful. The maturity life experience gap was very evident. 21 would just be the same. Two people at vastly different points in life, who likely want to experience different things, and at least for the 30-year-old, maybe not experience some things again, and probably want a different pace of life. Not saying it couldn't work, but I think the outcome would be vastly different if it was 31 and 40. Speaking as a young person with a 12-year age gap, I think it's situational. I was forced to grow up and be responsible and mature far too early, and don't care about having fun. I'm here for the hard stuff, and so is he, and we get along well. We bring out the best in each other as well as the worst, but he's my best friend. It definitely isn't something that can work for everybody, and it was weird at first for both of us, especially him. But it's doable with the right people. To each their own, I say. Questions like these always invoke many opinions, but at the end of the day, it depends on the couple. Some people get really hung up on age gaps and their own rules about it, while others don't care as long as it's illegal and consensual. I've seen age gaps of over a decade work better than those closer to their age range. If someone is hung up on the age gap more than the couple's ability to make it work, it is a them problem, no one else's. Met my wife when she was 23 and I was 31, 8 years difference. We've been together 13 years now and have 2 kids, and it feels like we just met yesterday. We rarely fight and never curse at each other. She has cursed at me twice in 13 years, but I totally deserved it. I shot her in the face with a Nerf gun on a dare from my friend. Us men never grow up, lol. The key is the no cursing rule I set with her early on and it just stuck. Anyhow, it's totally fine. Honestly, I think that it's fairly normal for people to date people older than them. The main thing for me though is that people who are 30 will normally be at a different stage in their lives and want different things, and that could lead to bigger problems in the future. So I think it isn't weird particularly, but I feel like it would be more difficult than having relationships with people closer to your age. In general, I mean, not all the time. From personal experience, I did not think it was right at the time I was 22 dating a 31-year-old. But now as a 31-year-old myself, I see it as a problem. The life experience from 22-31 is vastly different. I also feel like as a 22-year-old it was easier for me to be manipulated by someone who was older and had more dating experience. I would question why the 30-year-old can't date someone closer to their own age. There are probably reasons. When I was 21 I dated a 32-year-old professor. He was more immature than me, had a gambling problem, and lied all of the time. He was trying to get me to move away with him to NY to be near his family, and I declined. Good thing I did too, because I found out a lot of horrible things after I left his ass. I'm just glad I was a mature 21-year-old, because he ended up taking one of his side tricks with him and they both ended up on hard drugs. Depends, but like mostly yes. Speaking broadly and in American terms, 21-28 encapsulates a time of self-sustainability and emotional maturity that involves finding yourself in the real world. Someone out of college and with 5 years in the workforce dating someone whose life is mostly attending class can result in a strange power dynamic or inequity in viewing the other's maturity. That's just me though. Wouldn't do it. Would judge ya. It heavily depends on the persons, not the ages, as long as both are adults, which they are in this case. I know reasonably mature 21-year-olds and I know very immature 34-year-olds. It also depends on lifestyle. If the 21-year-old likes to party like there's no tomorrow and the 34-year-old like to chill at home the entire weekend, you'll probably have a problem. In short, the main thing is compatibility, not age. That's my view. It really depends. Do you have a genuine connection? I met my wife when I was 38 and she was 23, got married a year later. I won't lie, we went through some rough patches, but I think every marriage has those. It's been 15 years and we're still crazy for each other, with an awesome thriving high-performing 8-year-old. It's really about the bond. I guess it helps that I'm young at heart and super active, way more than her. It depends. Some 21-year-olds are very mature and focused. Others are basically children. I'm 27 and I don't really have the desire to date anyone 21 or younger because they're still so new to adulthood. 22 is probably my absolute bare minimum because they've had a year or so to get an understanding of bar culture in America, and they are more likely to keep their cool in social situations. But everyone is different. To me? Yes. Other people can do whatever they want, but I could never date someone that's part of an entirely different generation than I am. I also wouldn't want to date someone that's still in the process of growing up. People in their early 20s are often barely any more mature than people in their mid-teens, and that's a hard pass. I'd reworded this slightly due to a couple of responses. Overall point is the same. After 21, age is just a number. Personally, I have a 5-year rule, never get involved with someone more or less than 5 years of my age. But my brother started dating his late wife at 16 and she was 32. We only found out after he turned 17 and my mom tried having her arrested for statutory, but nothing could be done because the age of consent here is 17. But I couldn't imagine dating someone that much younger than I am. Depends on a few factors, but generally I'd say yes. A 9-year difference at those ages is huge. Basically when you were 18 she was half your age. I believe love is love. As long as both people are happy they should go for it. And a 21-year-old should be smart enough to make their own decisions, so it shouldn't have to feel like grooming. I can see the argument going either way. Almost 30 and I've done it. Some people think it's weird, but I'm not here to appease others. If two consenting adults like each other, then so be it. Also, I find it to be bullshit that this is only a problem with young females and older males. Older female with young male is okay. Older gay male with younger gay male. Okay. People need to keep their opinions to themselves. My dad was born in 1952. My mom was born in 1964. Someone from my 2007 graduating class is married to someone from the 2017 graduating class. I think most people need to mind their own business. I say most because yes, we should all be wary of grooming and manipulation, but not every relationship involving a 3 or more years age gap is problematic. Well, I 37 meters met my partner 28F with that exact age situation 7 years ago, so, I hope not. I mean, I did get teased by my friends a bunch and I didn't get serious for a few years because we were in different places in life. But you know, I'm glad we wrote it out since she's grown a lot and I haven't, and also now we're in similar places in life. Later in life, a 9-year age gap doesn't seem like that much. A 50-year-old dating a 59-year-old seems fairly normal, however a 19-year-old dating a 10-year-old is a fucking problem. Honestly, 21 is the beginning steps towards not being weird, since you all can go to a bar together. If you're going younger, Chris Hansen might tell you to have a seat.